This story is very meaningful. Everyone should hear it. Listen to Brian tell the story. I never thought my mother would try to kill me. Even after all the years of neglect, favoritism, and betrayal, even after she framed me for a crime I didn't commit, even after she stood by my sister's side when she tried to destroy my marriage, I never thought it would come to this. But there she was, standing a few feet away, shotgun in hand, her old, frail body shaking as she pointed it at me. It was a bright afternoon. The park was filled with laughter, the sound of children running through the grass, the chirping of birds, and the rustling of leaves in the wind. My kids were playing just a few feet away, completely unaware of the danger. And then, bang, a searing pain shot through my leg. I collapsed onto the pavement, my scream lost in the chaos that followed. I heard another shot, then another. People screamed. I turned my head and saw her face, twisted in rage, eyes filled with something I couldn't recognize. Not regret, not fear, just pure, undiluted hatred. My mother, the woman who was supposed to love me, protect me. I could barely process it through the haze of pain. Someone tackled her. The gun clattered to the ground. Sirens wailed in the distance. I felt hands on me, pressing against the wound, voices shouting for help. My vision blurred, my breath shallow. The only thing I could think was, how did we get here? How did my life come to this? I should start at the beginning. My name is Emily, and I grew up in a house where I was never the favorite. My younger sister, Julia, was the golden child, the perfect one, the beautiful one, the talented. I, on the other hand, was just there, unnoticed, overshadowed, forgotten. I remember being 8 years old, so excited for my birthday. I had imagined the cake, the gifts, the way everyone would sing for me. But when Julia walked into the room, all of that disappeared. She was 5 at the time, and she started singing some songs she had learned in kindergarten. Everyone clapped, laughed, cooed over how adorable she was. They forgot me. No one noticed the tears in my eyes as I sat there, feeling invisible. It never got better. As we grew up, Julia got the best of everything: clothes, attention, praise. I was constantly compared to her. Why can't you be more like Julia? Why can't you be as smart, as pretty, as talented? My mother said it so often it became a background noise in my life. But Julia knew. She knew she was the favorite, and she used it. If we fought, she'd scream and run to our parents, playing the victim. No matter what happened, I was the one punished. She was a straight-A student, a star athlete, the girl everyone wanted to be friends with. I was just the quiet, awkward one who barely fit in anywhere. In high school, I finally found someone that made me feel special. A boy I liked. I spent weeks gathering the courage to ask him to a school dance. When he said yes, I was so happy. I thought maybe, just maybe, things were changing. But a week before the dance, he canceled. He said he had asked someone else instead. That someone else was Julia. She hadn't known I had already asked him, but it didn't matter. She got to go to the dance. I stayed home, crying into my pillow. When we graduated, Julia got a full ride to an Ivy League school. My parents paid for everything: her tuition, her apartment, her expenses. I went to a community college, working 2 jobs to afford my classes. They never visited me, never asked about my life, but they drove up every month to see Julia, sent her care packages, called her every day. Eventually, I got my nursing degree and moved out. I stopped trying to get their approval. I built my own life, one where I wasn't just Julia's sister, where I wasn't the disappointment. And then I met Alex. Alex was the first person who truly saw me. He loved me for who I was, not for who I wasn't. He made me feel valued, something I had never really felt before. When we got married, I thought I had finally escaped the shadow of my past. We bought a house, started a family. For the first time, I felt happy. But Julia wasn't done with me. She came back into my life when she got engaged. My parents were over the moon. He's perfect, they said. The wedding is going to be amazing, they said. And then she asked me to be her maid of honor. I hesitated. We weren't close. We never had been. But she insisted. She wanted to rebuild our relationship. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe that maybe, just maybe, she had changed. She hadn't. Planning the wedding was a nightmare. She was demanding, controlling, dismissing every idea I had. It was clear she still saw me as nothing more than an afterthought. I gritted my teeth and went along with it, trying to be the bigger person. Then came the bridal shower. My mother stood in front of the guests giving a speech about Julia, how proud they were of her, how beautiful and successful she was. I stood there invisible as always. But then Julia did something unexpected. She took the microphone and, for the first time in her life, acknowledged me. She looked at me and said, "I want to take a moment to thank my sister. She's always been there for me. She's strong, kind, and I'm lucky to have her." I was shocked. For a moment, I thought maybe things were changing. But the moment didn't last. A week before the wedding, Julia lost a family heirloom, a necklace from our grandmother. She was hysterical, calling me in a panic. I rushed over to help her search. We turned her apartment upside down, but it was nowhere to be found. 2 days later, she accused me of stealing it. I was stunned. I had done nothing but help her, and yet she immediately assumed the worst of me. Worse, my parents believed her. They always did. A few days later, she found the necklace in one of her drawers. She had misplaced it. But did she apologize? No. Did my parents apologize? No. It was just another wound, another reminder that I would always be the scapegoat in this family. After the wedding, I focused on my own life. Alex's business took off, and we found financial success beyond anything I had imagined. We bought a beautiful home. We were happy. And then Julia came back. She showed up at our house more and more, claiming she wanted to reconnect. At first, I believed her, but then Alex told me something disturbing. Julia had been acting strange around him, flirting, dressing provocatively, saying things that made him uncomfortable. I felt sick. She wasn't here to reconnect. She was here to destroy my marriage. So we set a trap. We installed hidden cameras, waiting for the moment she would make her move. And when she did, when she put her hands on Alex, whispered those things to him, tried to convince him to betray me, we caught it all on tape. When we showed the footage to our parents, their faces turned pale. Her husband, the man she had just married, was furious. He left her, filed for divorce immediately. But my mother, she refused to believe it. She turned her anger on me. And that's when she decided to ruin my life. She framed me for a crime I didn't commit. And when that failed, she tried to kill me. I should have known. I should have seen it coming. But nothing could have prepared me for the moment my own mother pulled the trigger. The pain was unbearable. My leg throbbed, and my vision blurred as I lay on the pavement, struggling to stay conscious. Voices swirled around me, people shouting, kids crying, sirens wailing. But through all of it, my eyes locked onto my mother as the police wrestled her to the ground. She was screaming, thrashing, her gray hair wild, her face twisted in rage. "She deserved it," she shrieked. "She ruined Julia's life. She ruined everything." My stomach clenched at her words. Even now, after everything, she still blamed me. Strong hands pressed against my wound, trying to stop the bleeding. A man's voice, calm, urgent, told me to stay with them. I tried. I fought against the darkness creeping into the edges of my vision. The last thing I saw before everything went black was Alex running toward me, his face pale with terror. I woke up in a hospital bed, the smell of antiseptic thick in the air. My body felt heavy, my leg wrapped in thick bandages. Alex was there, sitting beside me, his hand gripping mine so tightly I could feel his fear through his touch. When he saw my eyes open, his shoulders sagged in relief. "Emily," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. I tried to speak, but my throat was dry. He poured me a glass of water, helping me sip before pressing a kiss to my forehead. "You're okay," he murmured. "You're going to be okay." But was I? The memories came rushing back. The park, the gun, the searing pain. My mother's eyes filled with hatred. Tears burned behind my eyes, but I forced them back. "The kids?" My voice was hoarse. "They're safe," he reassured me. "Julia took them home after everything happened." Julia. The name sent a wave of conflicting emotions through me. After all the destruction she had caused in my life, she had stepped up when it mattered most. But did that change anything? Did that erase the years of cruelty and betrayal? Alex must have seen the turmoil on my face because he squeezed my hand. "You don't have to think about any of that right now," he said gently. "Just focus on getting better." But how could I? How could I possibly move past this? The days that followed were a blur of pain, medication, and visits from doctors and detectives. My mother had been arrested on the spot, charged with attempted murder. The police had overwhelming evidence: the witnesses, the security footage, the gun. She wasn't getting away with it this time. But what haunted me most wasn't the fact that she had tried to kill me. It was why. She had planned this. She had waited for her moment, and she had done it all because she still saw me as the problem. As I lay in that hospital bed, I kept replaying everything in my mind. Growing up, I had always thought that maybe, just maybe, there was a part of her that loved me, a small, hidden part that she didn't know how to express. But now I saw the truth. There was no love, only resentment. Julia visited me a few days later. I wasn't sure how to feel when she walked into my hospital room. She looked different, tired, older. The confident, perfect Julia I had always known was gone. In her place was someone more fragile, someone who carried the weight of shame. She sat beside me, hesitating before reaching for my hand. "I don't even know where to start," she admitted, her voice small. I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. She took a deep breath. "I should have defended you. All those years, I should have said something. I should have seen what she was doing to you. I should have—" She broke off, her voice cracking. A lump formed in my throat, but I stayed silent. "I was jealous of you," she admitted. "I know that sounds insane, but it's true. You had something I never had. You were real. You fought for your own life, your own happiness. Mom controlled everything about me. I didn't see it for what it was until it was too late." I closed my eyes, overwhelmed by everything she was saying. "I'm not asking you to forgive me," she said softly. "I just needed you to know that I'm sorry." When I finally spoke, my voice was hoarse. "I don't know if I can ever forgive you, Julia." She nodded, accepting my words. "I understand." But for the first time in our lives, we sat together not as rivals, not as golden child and forgotten daughter, but as two broken people trying to make sense of the mess our mother had left behind. The trial came a few months later. My mother sat in the defendant's chair, her face pale, her hands trembling. But there was no remorse in her eyes, only cold, quiet hatred. The prosecution laid out the case clearly: the footage, the witnesses, my injuries, the threats she had made in the past. When the jury delivered their verdict, guilty, she didn't react. And the judge sentenced her to life in prison. She was led away in handcuffs, and as she passed me, she locked eyes with me one last time. "You did this," she whispered, her voice shaking with rage. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of her. "No," I said, my voice steady. "You did this to yourself." She was gone, just like that. Utisha, life moved on, as life always does. The scars on my leg healed, though they would always be there, a permanent reminder of how close I had come to losing everything. Alex was my rock through it all. He stayed by my side every step of the way, never wavering, never letting me fall into the darkness. Julia and I, we weren't the same. We would never be the same, but something was different. We spoke more often. She visited. She was trying. And maybe, just maybe, I was willing to let her. My father struggled to accept everything that had happened. He visited my mother in prison once, but whatever he saw there changed him. He never went back. My children grew up in a house filled with love, not resentment. They never had to fight for my affection, never had to question if they were enough. And me? I was free. For the first time in my life, I was truly, completely free. The past would always be a part of me, but it didn't define me anymore. I had survived, and that was enough. If there's one thing I've learned from everything I've been through, it's that family isn't just about blood. It's about love, respect, and the way people treat you. Sometimes the people who are supposed to love you the most are the ones who hurt you the deepest. And sometimes walking away, choosing your own happiness, is the strongest thing you can do. For years, I thought I had to earn my family's love. I thought if I worked harder, if I was kinder, if I just tried enough, they would finally see me. But the truth is, some people will never see you, no matter how much you shine, and that's okay. because you don't need their validation to be whole. If you've ever felt like the forgotten one, the one left behind, the one who was never enough, know this: you are enough. You always have been, and you don't need anyone else to tell you that to make it true. My mother's hatred, Julia's betrayal, the years of pain, they don't define me. I define me. I built a life filled with love, and in the end, that's what matters. But I want to know, what do you think? Have you ever been in a situation where family treated you unfairly? Have you ever had to walk away to protect your own peace? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the channel. Sharing stories like this helps others realize they're not alone. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, send it their way. Let's build a community where no one feels invisible. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And most of all, thank you for believing that your story, your life, matters.